Good morning. It is Tuesday, July 2nd. We're into July. And I'd like to open the call to order the Board of County Commissioners meeting. And we'll start with Pledge of Allegiance, noting that all three commissioners are in attendance. Thank you.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, so business agenda.
Want to discuss the new opioid settlement at some point on that? It's a new, but it doesn't matter.
And we could put something for Trout Lake Community Council for support of a conservation easement that I received. And I gave you each a packet. Under new business, I'd give you time to look at the pack.
Is this the same email we all got?
I couldn't tell if you all got it or not, so I went ahead and sent it to you. All right, made you a copy.
Madam Chair, I would make a motion to approve the consent agenda or the business agenda, noting that consent agenda item number 4 will be pulled for discussion. And then adding the opioid settlement and the conservation easement in Trout Lake area to new business at 1:30.
I was asleep at the mic. I'll second the motion.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion passes. So we will move to public comment. So we will start with those in the room. If you're called upon, please come to the table and state your name and where you're from. And also the same for Zoom. If you raise your hand, we'll call on you and let us know who you are and where you're from if you can. And I see we have a man in the, come forward, please. Good morning.
Good morning. I'm Jack Runyon. I live at 194 Woodland Road. My concern is the viewpoint 7 miles out of Glenwood. I'm not sure everybody that's involved with that. If you look at the map, the viewpoint looks like it's on Indian property. The road going into it belongs to Columbia Land Trust. There's a sign next to the highway out there that belongs to the county. There's a sign that says viewpoint. That tells me that you're invited in across that property to the viewpoint. The viewpoint doesn't have a handrail. It goes down, and there was this last week I was out there, and 2 seniors drove in there, barely getting in there, probably with their SUV. I got a pickup and I had a hard time getting in on the road. The land trust hasn't done anything with the road. The Indians, the viewpoint, the chain link fence is crushed by 2 trees. It's holding up the rock that should be holding up the fence. And now one portion of that fence is tied together with a rope. So who protects who? Does the county, should the county get involved a little bit to talk to the Columbia Land Trust and work with the Indians? I would think that the amount of money spent would behoove everybody that involved with that for safety's sake. I've been at this for about 3 years now. I've talked to the people at the land trust. I haven't, hopefully the land trust said they were going to talk to the Indians, but I haven't heard anything from the Indians and I haven't heard anything back from the land trust. And I did send a letter to them yesterday, the land trust, and maybe I'll get something back. I would think all three entities ought to do something. If you're protecting the citizens of Klickitat County, then I would think that the county should be responsible for assisting the other two parties by maybe using county road maintenance to go in there and drill holes and put the holes in for the fence. The land trust to build a fence and the Indians to do something with it. So I'm not sure where we go from there. I don't know if you can send them a letter, kind of pushing them a little bit. I'm surprised that it's not underneath the Parks and Recreation District.
Thank you.
However, that the Recreation District, I understand, didn't take over the second one that was deleted. that
Thank
covered
you.
that.
And I did get your email too.
Okay.
Okay.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
Are you? Oh, sorry, I had my mic up. We usually do responses at the end of public comment at about 9:30. I don't know whether you're going to be here or not to hear the response. And so that's why I was classifying whether you're going to stay or whether you're going to go. And if you're going to go, maybe we can respond to you before you go. So you at least.
I can stay if you respond after 9:30.
Yeah,
Sure. Go.
Because I have some comments for you.
Hey, thank you.
Thank you.
I just didn't want him to get up and
Yeah.
walk out not thinking
Yeah.
there was ever going to be a response.
Thank you. And on Zoom this morning, do we have anybody waiting to speak this morning? Seeing nobody, I'll ask back in the room. Is there anybody who'd like to comment this morning?
Wow, you might get a response faster than 9:30.
Yeah, that'd be good. We have work at 9:30, so.
2662.
Good morning, 2662.
Good morning. This is Tracy from Lyle.
Good morning.
So I was listening to the meeting this morning when I could get in. Were the business minutes approved yet? I only saw the business minutes, not the meeting minutes for the last two calendar dates. Were they approved?
There's no business meeting minutes to be approved this morning. They're not on the agenda. So they'll be on.
Okay. I thought.
Yeah.
Okay, because I thought I saw them on the agenda. But would you guys keep an eye out for my last name so that it's spelled correctly?
Yeah.
It's spelled MCCUNE. Okay. Well, that was my first question because I thought I saw some to be approved. Anyway, now I'd like to comment on the gentleman that just talked about the viewpoint and the land trust. So there is a property that the land trust just really recently purchased up on the castle property, which is off of Old Highway 8 in Lyle, near the Grange Hall. They put a gate at the end of a county road that leads to a grassy field overlooking the bluffs of Lyle. And there's people going in and out of that gate all the time. There is a combination you have to know, but for the landowners around that area, there's a lot of concern for fire danger because the cars are driving straight through the grass. There's no road and there's no gravel. There's no parking lot. There is the Grange Hall, which is owned by the state, and they're using that to park on, which is, I don't know, right or wrong. But anyway, just wanted to bring that up because it is very difficult to know what to do when there's, property owners around a land trust purchase. Like the gentleman was saying, who do you call? Who's accountable? The gate that they put in was too narrow for a fire truck to even get through. And so fire danger is real for those property owners around there. And then I'd also like to touch on, so at the last week's meeting, I listened to the whole thing. Usually I don't, but I did this one. I don't have video. I only have audio. At the end of the meeting, Jeff King gave Jacob Anderson a bid opening for a cameras, I believe. And I was hoping to watch it again, but apparently the meeting ended without ever being closed. And that bit with Jeff King wasn't even on there. So I'd like to know what that bid was for, why it wasn't on the agenda. I believe he said $80,000 and he gave the bid back to Jeff to do something with. And $80,000 for what kind of cameras? What kind of cameras is he wanting to get? Are they security cameras or are they cameras like the PUD wants with their new grant to get? And that's algorithm cameras that go on the top of mountaintops and they have algorithms, and for the PUD's sake, they're going to watch for smoke, as they say. The PUD grant also combined California and Washington together in this grant, so that whenever something happens in California with the wildfires, then it would be the same in Washington. Legislature's been trying to do that for years, and here the PUD was able to do it through a grant. My time's probably up, so I'll let you go. Thank you.
Thank you. Say back in the room. Anyone change their mind? And back online. Good morning, Ann.
Good morning. This is Ann Slade down in Dallsport. I have been going back and watching and rewatching some of the prior meetings that I've not been able to sit in on in person. And I guess I have a couple of questions and on the subject of the jail closing and just general business. I saw in some of the recorded meetings when this topic first came up back the end of March, 1st of April, references several times to how much work the county employees had put in on whatever kind of research, whatever it was that you had them looking into, all of the man hours that had gone into it. And it kind of brought up a thought in my mind. If the three commissioners can't talk amongst themselves about a topic like that, they have to do it in an open meeting, I understand. But do any of you have the ability to go and direct the county employees to perhaps set aside or move down in the importance what they were working on and do research or work on a project on your say-so, on the say-so of any one commissioner? And what happens when they get conflicting requests from the three commissioners? If Jacob wants them to work on one thing and Lori wants them to work on something else and Dan wants them to work on a third thing, who gets priority if the three of you can't talk? So I guess that is a puzzle to me. I truly don't understand how that works, but it would explain perhaps a delay in response to the public whenever we call in looking for information or what have you, be it Freedom of Information Act or anything else, that if they are working on an assignment that they can't talk about, then that would explain why our requests might be going down on the priority list. From what I am seeing and hearing on that topic, I'm not in favor of closing the jail and trying to transport everyone to Norcor. The logistics of that do seem quite expensive and a nightmare, and I truly think it would impact the service that the sheriff's office is able to provide to the citizens. That just, to me, does not make any sense at all. Without a whole lot more research and a whole lot more information out to the public, I truly think that the commissioners jumped the gun on that one to say that, oh, well, in 2 weeks, we're going to close the jail. That doesn't make any sense. It seems really suspicious and poorly thought out, which kind of makes me question the motivation on it a little bit. I hope I'm wrong. But if that is going to be considered, I truly think that it should be a lot more transparent and a lot more thought put into it. So you folks have a good day.
Thank you, Ann. Back in the room. Okay, back online. Anyone else this morning? Okay. We got Sherry Bosque. Good morning, Sherry.
Good morning, commissioners. So I'll just 3 minutes, not a lot. And there's so much you go, good golly. So under canvas, why was it pulled from the agenda? You know, I've been involved with this. I live right here at the intersection that people will probably die at, you know, line of sight with the bridge, all that stuff. Let's not forget that there's no evacuation plan for under canvas still to this day. And we all know the road is not adequate. We just ignore that it's not adequate and say under canvas will fix it. Yeah, right. Okay. But there's no evacuation plan. People will probably die. And water. Where are they going to get the water? Are we still ignoring the water? The 5,000 gallons a day in the conditional use permit it says it will be monitored and turned into the planning department monthly. Who's going to do that? I hope you're taking down my questions. Who's going to monitor and report that water to the planning department as required in the conditional use permit? And fire, DNR's moved from Hewsum. Can't count on them anymore. They're gone. You know that. Can KCFD3, RFA, DBA, whoever they are nowadays, can they handle it? Don't think so. But they are cutting down all the trees, so we have some fire mitigation there. That's lovely. That whole road's being destroyed, clear cutted. It's ugly, clear cutted, oaks and everything. Septic system, Department of Health. They said they need a large on-site septic system. I don't see that on their design. Keep that in mind. And also, Jake must recuse himself still. Dan, you're not sure if you need to or not. There's some weird email out there. And Lori, you said to me personally, you don't think Under Canvas should be located there. That it's not right to be there. But maybe you weren't telling me the truth. And on last week's meeting with my 1 minute, the Zoom recording was cut off before you adjourned. I don't think that's right. And oh yeah, did the BOCC, you guys create a Department of Corrections last week? Was that finished? Is that a done deal? And then also, I have a question. And this is a question that's been asked. I hope to take this down. Because you guys want to ignore this so bad. Does the county own the right-of-way to the properties that Carriger, Cypress Creek, is requesting a franchise agreement to run transmission lines down? Because this is something that's been discovered. Do you, the county, own the right-of-way to approve a private corporation's transmission lines? Or do you need to acquire that from the landowners? And, you know, the silliest things that you say is, we can't discuss it. What the heck? What we need to discuss things. And I'd like to hear more about Under Canvas. And I hope you take in mind that no evacuation plan.
Thank you, Sherry. I'm going to have a discussion, just 1 second. We are at 9:16 and we have a special executive session at 9:30, correct? Because of the prosecutor.
It says 9:30.
It says 9:30. It does say 9:30.
So time is of the essence.
So time is of the essence. So what I'd like to do with my seatmate's permission and hopefully honor the public is we have one man that waited patiently for his answer, if we could answer him, and then move to executive session. And then when we resume, go ahead and finish with public comment. Would that be workable?
I could have my public comment in 2 minutes, so I could have my public comment in 2 minutes. Rather than making everybody leave the room for executive and then come back, I would rather end public comment early if need be.
Okay.
And give each of us a quick 1 or 2 minutes to answer questions, not 10.
Well, we have 3 minutes.
Yeah,
Do you want to do, our,
take 3 minutes and then do responses?
okay,
Let the last gentleman speak and
but
then,
we have to go into executive session at 9:30,
Yep.
correct?
so we can respond for 4 minutes, 5 minutes, and then let the prosecutor.
They're coming in now. Do you see the time clock? It's 9:18.
I know, but that's what I'm saying. If you take one more public comment, they'll be done at 9:21 and we can have about 5 minutes. We'll be done with public comment at 9:26
They're
and
scheduled for
have it at 9:30. And he's in at 9:30.
Okay. Okay,
We just have to limit our rebuttal.
right. Go ahead, Mr. Rizzi. Mr. Rizzi, are you still available?
Yes, I had to get off of mute.
Thank
Okay. So I just wanted to point out that Dallasport Community Deliberative Assembly, which is DCDA, which was put in place by the Dallasport Murdoch Community Council, is a group of taxpayers and voters in Klickitat County that researched the Dallasport wastewater facility and O&M contract attached to the facility. This citizen-based group has been working for several years on countywide taxpayer issues that affect all taxpayers and voters of Klickitat County. These citizens and voters are tired of the wasteful spending of taxpayer monies. Klickitat County taxpayers and voters are the ones who filed the complaints to the Washington State Department of Environmental Protection in regards to the Dallasport wastewater facility. It's just, if you look at the numbers don't make any sense. If you look at the facilities, when we toured the facilities, they were in very bad disrepair and they're not being kept up. I have said over and over that I, in the military for 20 years, was in charge of preventive maintenance. And in the preventive maintenance, you have to do that in order to make your equipment last much longer than what's even expected. And none of that's been happening. So yes, we're going to have to put out a lot of money to bring it up to a reasonable condition so that we can continue on for years and years without having to put money into it that is needless. KPUD has not been doing their job, and we want everyone to know that, and we want that. I'm glad to see that the RFP is on the schedule. I'm looking forward to hearing what that is gone with. I also wanted to say that, Sherry, you're right on, and it was very good to hear your voice out there bringing up topics of need. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Rizzi. Would we like to limit now? And
I would end it and
Okay.
go over the
go
responses.
ahead. And,
Greg Wagner with C.
Oh,
I want to know why you're cutting a citizen's comment short when you let Ken Nichols talk 10 minutes during the battery discussion. Apparently the citizens don't matter. The executive session can be postponed and move forward. Let the citizens speak.
That's up to the chair.
we will, yeah. Thank you, Mr. Wagner. And with my seatmates' permission, we can open it back up for more comments after the point on Zoom. We could check if people want to check back in. We would allow you to check back in. This is just, we have to accommodate timeframes sometimes from other executives because they have a lot going on too. So we're going to allow executive session at 9:30 this morning. Would you like
No,
to?
they can wait. Let the citizens come.
Mr. Wagner? Okay, thank you.
Know how to mute me, but you don't know how to mute Ken Nichols.
Go ahead.
So anytime you want to do that, with the chair, make sure you get a nod before you do it, otherwise it's on you. Are we in response? Are you ending comment then?
Yes, for now.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I'll try to be super fast and quick, sir. The viewpoint, my understanding, we're not allowed to give money to them to fix the viewpoint or spend our money or our road dollars on them on their private property. That's gift of public funds. But what we could potentially do is remove the viewpoint sign. We can't make them upgrade it. We can't pay them to upgrade it. We can't upgrade it. All we can do is remove the sign, and I'll look into it. I'm going to try to go fast. And how we direct county staff, how we should direct county staff is from this room, making sure you have 2 votes to direct staff to do anything, and not direct staff to do anything outside of this room. On the jail issue, Commissioner Anderson gave Commissioner Zoller permission to do so. So that was on the up and up. But I agree with you. We do need to make sure that all directive to county staff comes from this room to make sure there's 2 people that agree with it. Otherwise, it puts staff in a really bad place, and that's happened before. And I hope for transparency that we put all jail updates on the agenda from now on, so they don't just walk in the room and people can know when and where. Sherry, why was under canvas pulled from the agenda? It is my understanding they had not fulfilled the condition on water usage. And that's all I have.
Mr. Anderson?
Thank you, Mr. Runyon, for your question. I will be checking in. I see that Viewpoint Road and that the county designed and built the viewpoint back in the day. I don't know if the county road used to go all the way out there around by the viewpoint. or if it was owned by the county at some point. So I'm going to look into that and make sure that to see if we have an easement over Viewpoint Road and if there's anything on the title report that makes it like a county park at the time, which at some point it must have come off the county parks. So I don't know the history there. But I will also have a conversation with Columbia Land Trust and Nate Ulrich about it to see what they have planned for it. So I will get, and then I'll get in touch with you when that happens.
Thank you.
You're welcome, sir. Miss McCune, I just wanted to clarify the record. That property you were talking about down by Lyle was bought by the Columbia Gorge Land Trust. It was not bought by Columbia Land Trust. So they are different organizations, and I didn't know that that was bought. So thank you for bringing that to the attention. Mr. King has an update later today, so I'll let him respond about the cameras at the time and any PUD grant. And Ms. Lead, all the time we get phone calls from people in the community asking questions, asking for help. We don't bring it in front of the board of three in order to have a conversation with staff. Very often we go and try to work things out based on what our constituents are saying. It is always a good idea to bring anything that's a directive to staff, that's directing staff to build something, create something. But in terms of, we ask staff on a regular basis, hey, do you know about this? Or could you research this and let me know so I can answer and respond? So there is a big difference between when we're directing staff to do something versus asking staff, hey, would you look into this? This is an issue that's come to our attention. That is one of the key foundational jobs of the county commissioners, is to be the voice of the constituents when they do have questions of government and they're not getting answers or they're not understanding the answers, so that we can try to work through that. Mr. Rizzi, I did review those DOE filed complaints, and from everything that I was reading, it sounds like DOE gave the wastewater facility a clean bill of health. So as I asked before, please send me anything you have that says otherwise. But the documents that I reviewed showed that the facility is kept up, it is running, it doesn't have downtime, and the PUD is continuing to do the job that they are paid to do. And I will leave any others open for after. And I would ask the chair that we reopen public comment after our executive session.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Runyon, it sounds like we're all on it and we'll work on that. I've been to that viewpoint and thank you for working on that. It's necessary. Yeah, you didn't mention that it was actually on a cliff. So good idea to work on that. And other than that, I think my seatmates answered comments except for Sherry. I will answer yes. I am not a fan of under canvas at where it's located, but I am a county commissioner and it was worked through the processes for the most part before I got here. So I will stand behind our permitting processes and we'll do our due diligence to fine tune everything for that application. And that's what's happening now. It's been pulled back because it needed some more work. So I thank staff for that. Okay, we're going to go ahead and close public comment for now. We will reopen Zoom again and see if there's anyone after our executive session. And we'll ask everyone to leave the room. We're going to move into executive session with prosecuting attorney David Cannell and staff under accordance of RCW 42.30.110. Pren L, Pren I, Pren 1, Pren I, to discuss threatening and pending litigation. Issues of general nature will be discussed in open session. Thank you.
I would also add that before you go into executive, it's always best to ask the prosecutor if you have anything for open session
Okay.
before you go into executive, because you might have something for open.
Okay.
So from now on, that's just a courtesy thing.
Put it in my memory bank.
What time will we be returning?
How long do you need, Mr. Cannell? Okay, 15 minutes, 9:45.